I'm going to give you all a little bit of the good news that we got out of this election, because there's obviously been a lot of bad and we've all been talking about it and we're upset about it, but we actually had some really notable successes. I want to tell you about them because we just all need to take a break from bad news sometime. First of all, in Wisconsin, remember the whole Janet Protasiewicz race that gave us a liberal-dominated state Supreme Court? We got fair maps in Wisconsin, and we had state house elections in Wisconsin using those maps for the first time. Guess what? We flipped 14 seats in the Wisconsin State House in this last election. 14. That is a huge, huge deal. 4 of them were in the Senate. 10 of them were in the Assembly. We broke the supermajority in the state. That means they can no longer override Tony Evers' veto. It's a very big deal, and we are actually set up to flip one of those chambers now in 2026. Huge. All right, now I want to talk about North Carolina. This actually made me feel much better because I flew there to canvass, and it really was heartbroken at first to feel like my efforts and the efforts of so many people were worth nothing. But they weren't worth nothing, because in North Carolina, Democrats won governor, lieutenant governor, secretary of state, and attorney general Jeff Jackson. Fantastic, right? This is a huge deal. Also, Mo Green, who I mentioned in one of my previous videos, won superintendent of public schools. And let me tell you something, he was running against a truly ghastly candidate. And public education is safe in North Carolina now because Mo Green won. We broke the supermajority in the North Carolina State House. Now this sounds like, who cares about that? Hugely important, because now if North Carolina Republicans try to pass another horrible, more extreme ban or something that's anti-LGBTQ, the new Democratic Governor Josh Stein can veto it, and they can't override the veto. This sounds in the weeds, but this is why every state legislative seat matters. In Pennsylvania, Democrats retained their majority in the state house, in a state where we otherwise really got clobbered. We also got 2 new black female senators in Delaware and Maryland. This is a huge deal. And in general, for the U.S. Senate, we won our U.S. Senate seats in 4 out of 5 battleground states. Of course, it could have been better, but it really could have been much worse. We had important state Supreme Court wins in Kentucky and Michigan. Bravo. 7 out of 10 states passed pro-choice ballot measures. This is a very big deal, even though they will be useless against the Comstock Act if Trump's DOJ decides to enforce that. Even so, it at least shows that Americans' hearts are in the right place, even if their civics is not quite up to snuff. Over 400 LGBTQ candidates won in 40 states. 12 got sent to Congress, including Sarah McBride, who will become the first openly transgender person to serve in Congress ever. Yay! But also 37 went to state legislatures and 12 went to courts. Big deal. In New Jersey, Andy Kim became the first Korean American elected to the U.S. Senate. I have met him. Lovely guy. The Senate will be a more ethical place with him in it. And there was even a tiny bit of good news out of Arizona. One of my subscribers wrote to tell me that the so-called normies maintained control of the Chandler, Arizona Unified School District governing board, winning 2 of 3 open seats. I think some of my followers may have written postcards for those races. School board races matter. So all of this is just to say that while we had some real, disappointment at the top of the ticket, and obviously I would have loved to hold the House and the Senate so very much, I want to really stop and acknowledge that these victories happened. They wouldn't have happened if we hadn't worked as hard as we had. Some of the forces that made us lose, the top office might have been beyond our control, and I can talk about that in another video. There's a global phenomenon happening this year, and sadly, we were part of it and actually did better than many countries did in terms of ousting the incumbent, which is a worldwide phenomenon this year, post-COVID and post-COVID inflation. But I want to thank you all for your hard work. It mattered. These elections matter. We are going to come back and fight again. Never, ever stop believing that your voice matters, that you deserve a better country, and that you and your efforts can help make it, because they did and they will, and I will be here with you for all of it.